The mic wasn't connected this whole time. So if the audio was bad for the intro, I'm sorry.
My name is Sylvie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you are new here, then welcome to my YouTube channel. I don't know why I said that. I never do an intro, but anyway, here's the backstory to this. So my friend made this dress, helped her through the process. It was her first time doing a wearable, so it was really fun to sort of teach, pass on some skills, and just have some like fun girl time sewing together. Then I posted this reel, short, TikTok, what have you. You guys were all going crazy about how this dress was made. So that reel was about this corset that I made out of her scraps. But that's not what this video is about. The dress that we're making is the Heloise dress by Christina Soista. She's got a tutorial on her YouTube to help you make it, and she also has another version without jean where you can add a lining on the inside. I do believe her version has a lining on the inside with the jean as well. I'm just going to be using the pattern pieces. I will be making modifications as to how I'm doing the sewing process, which is how we made it a little bit easier for my friend. On my friend's, we just serged everything and ironed the seams open flat. On this one, I believe I will be doing flat felled seams, but more on that later. And with that said, that's the intro. Let's get into it. Okay, I just went thrifting. Oh wow, this is way too high up. I went into the men's area because when we made my friend's dress, I guess her friend had given her a whole bunch of old Levi's jeans that she had, but she was like a size 23 and they were skinny. So that's not a lot of material. And this dress has a lot of poof, I suppose, to the bottom, a lot of volume. So it was really difficult to get the pieces to line up. We got some men's sizes. These ones are dark blue. These, also Value Village, it is not a steal anymore. It's like $14 for these jeans, 15. But anyway, this is where I don't know if I'm gonna regret my choice or not, but I got some gray Levi's. I do really like the tag on these. Oh, there you go. I think this is the one that I'm gonna use just because it's so clean. It is that leather one. It's the like non-papery feeling one. So all together, it kind of gives this color palette, which I'm not sure that I'm gonna love, but we'll see. I need to print out and cut the pattern. Also, I leave for France in like 4 days, so this dress has to get done in 4 days. So let's cut.
One thing that I want to mention that I did find bizarre was these measurements at first. So my friend and I sort of measured each other. I think like the chest measurements were like in medium, and then like the waist was an extra small, and then the hips were in like a large or a medium, something bizarre. For her, we ended up printing out the small and it actually fit big on her. So we had to take it in. So for me, I'm gonna print out the extra small, and we are very similar measurements. It was just kind of like a weird thing, and we measured and remeasured. So I don't know if we both just interpreted the measurements improperly, but that is that. Now, another tip for those of you printing at home, I love to use vellum paper now when I'm printing out patterns because it is see-through. I don't know if you can see here, my finger, you can see it through the paper. So I'm gonna just overlay all these pages instead of having to cut up all the edges at the end, and it's gonna make it way better. I am watching the cheerleading world, but this is what I mean. See, it just lines up all nice. And then I can just cut it all out after, and I don't need to cut any of the corner of the pages. It's just really nicely lined up. Alrighty, I got all my pieces cut out. Now I'm gonna go get my jeans and I'm gonna seam rip the entire sides. This always sucks to do with jeans, mostly because jeans, especially the Levi's, are very sturdy, and a lot of them have the flat felled seams, which are really hard to pull apart because there's 2 stitches. So it's not just like seam ripping all the way through. It's like once you get through one layer, then you still have to tackle the next one. I made a hole in this so you could ignore that, but yeah. Now, wouldn't this be something? I'm on my 3rd pair, well, about to start the 3rd pair. I could probably have finished this dress by the time that, or like with all the time that it took to seam rip. So that's the only thing that I don't like about doing this. All right, so I've harvested this beautiful leather tag. I've harvested the best looking Levi's tag, and now I'm going to iron all of these. The prep is more than the sewing. Okay, now it is time to cut out my pattern pieces. So it's just way too nice of a day to be indoors. I don't know about you, but when it's nice out, I cannot be indoors. I'm going to overlay my pieces and use a fabric marker just to trace. That way I can just cut it out afterwards without having to worry too much about anything slip and sliding around. I don't have to take my cutting mat down. And I'm also sort of going to be planning out my color layout for this, so I don't want any two colors touching, just like my friend did it, but I think that I'm going to put the darker panels, so like the black, on the front and back, like side, the middle strips of the front and back. If that makes sense. You can really see here just how wide the bottom gets. It takes an entire panel of this. Like, this is one of the larger sizes I could find in the men's section, so just keep that in mind. And take this with a grain of salt. I only know because we've done it and we measured beforehand, but the size of a pant leg is not the size of an entire dress. So here's the situation. It's a little bit long, like this would seep over. We measured and we found out when we made Sam's that it's about like 6 or so inches up that we wouldn't need. It's okay if I only cut up to this point and that this all sort of goes over or goes over on this side, because I'm not going to need this bit anyway. All my pieces cut out and I'm sweating from the sun. Okay, it's time to be back indoors and back at my sewing machine. So I already have some jean specific thread in there. It's a little bit thicker and it's gonna help with that integrity. On Sam's, the original dress, I used my serger here and I serged every single edge of hers so that it wouldn't fray in the process. And then we had every edge serged. Then things were sewn together and then the seams were pressed open and flat. She elected not to put a lining in it, so the seams are just open and flat on the inside. She said she was comfortable with that. If you're gonna do that, I suggest putting in a lining just so that it gives it a little bit more structural integrity and so that you don't have kind of like seams against your body. Not that uncomfortable because it's jeans and they were serged. With that said, I want it to be a little bit sturdier, so I'm gonna be doing a flat felled seam on every single one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and serge the seams that are around the neck holes and the armholes. Otherwise, that's all I'm serging. Oh, and the back, like where the zipper is gonna be. Now I'm gonna start sewing the body together. So I'm not doing any fancy seams yet. I'm just gonna sew all my panels together. Right sides together, the made that they're meant to be. Yes, my brain is braining so hard right now. I'm not gonna show an insane amount of how to assemble these things. I'll obviously show you the flat felled seam and how I'm achieving the result that I want because I am changing the pattern a little bit. It is Christina Sewista, I'll leave her handle here, her pattern, and she does have a video. So if you want to see the proper in-depth version of how to do this pattern the way it was meant to be, definitely go see her video, but I do love the results of this, so hence why I'm making this video, you know? Anyway, I'm gonna start sewing this together. And I will also say, it is jeans, and jean does stretch quite a bit. So if this is one of your first ever projects, make sure when you're putting this through the machine that you're not pulling it out the back or feeding it through. Just let the machine do its thing, put it on a tension setting that you think works, and let it feed itself through. Otherwise, you're gonna have weird little bumps everywhere because it is a stretchy material. So just be careful of that. Also, just so you know, I am a little bit cheating my first, like the middle seam here. Let me show you. So this is the front. If I were to do a flat felled seam on this one, it would kind of like just go to one side. And if I were to press it open and then sew it on both sides, that would also be a really good idea, but then nothing's really keeping it together if it's pulling and pulling, and I do want this to be really tight, so I don't want it to break. So I'm gonna do a fake flat felled seam on the outside. I'm going to sew this serged end down. And you could, if you have a serger or you're comfortable with a zigzag stitch, you could just serge and leave it like this, or just serge and tack it down, which would be way easier than doing a whole bunch of flat felled seams. I'm gonna tack this down to the one side, and then I'm gonna mirror the line on the front so it looks like I've got the two lines and it's parallel. I've sewed it down on the one side, so it gives me one line on this side, and that is it. And then here's what it looks like on the back side. So this seam is not moving. This line is not centered. So I'm gonna go in on this side and I'm gonna mirror that line just so that it is even, and you'll see. It started out really nice. You can see what I was talking about. And then I ran out of bobbin. So classic, classic, classic. All right, the flat felt seam. Now, am I crazy for doing this on a princess seam? Probably. What is a princess seam? It's these curved seams here. However, this looks really good. So the first step to this for me is going to be ironing this out before I do anything with this seam. I've ironed it. I don't know if you guys can already tell the difference, but this is a little bit more of a normal shape. So that's nice. And here's what the inside looks like. So it's just pressed nice and open. This is what we had done for my friends, except both of the edges were serged, which you can just do with a zigzag stitch as well. And that's how we just left it. And that's totally fine. That makes it super easy if you're doing this as a beginner project, then it's just done. I'm trying to be an overachiever here for some reason. So I'm grabbing my scissors, and what we're doing is for the flat felt seam, I need to cut each outside seam down so that it's thin, and then the top seam is gonna fold over it. So you'll see, it's obviously better if you do more than just a centimeter of seam allowance. However, I just did a centimeter of seam allowance. Okay, now this is where the magic happens. Now this is why I was also saying I should have done this with a wider seam allowance, but it is what it is. So I've cut this down much smaller on this side. It's not super precise, but whatever. And then what I'm gonna do is roll this jean over and under, so it creates this. And then I'm gonna iron this down just to make sure that it's in place. And then sew it down, and that's a flat felt seam. So there's absolutely no raw edges showing on this side, and definitely not on the right side either. Yeah, I'm gonna have to retry this again. But essentially, it looked really good on the inside. This is what my inside looks like. It's nice and clean. Oh, there's a big part of me that just wants to do this though. Well, I was feeling really optimistic about finishing this today, but I think I've just spent the better part of an hour or an hour and a half trying to figure out what's going on with my machine. Something's happening with the timing of it, I guess. I'm not too sure what's going on, but it keeps making a clicking sound. I've opened it up, I've looked at every part of it, and I've cleaned it, I've oiled it, I've put parts back where they should be. I've rethreaded it a million times. There's like no tension basically on the back. So I have no idea what's going on. I've never had this problem with this machine. Unfortunately though, I'm only at my 4th panel and I was just ready to finish this today. Like this would have been done tonight. I don't know. I'm really angry about that. Well, this dress went from a nice cheap thrifted project to something a little bit more expensive. My husband tried to fix my machine this morning to no avail. So thank you to Fabrications Ottawa who helped me pick out my new sewing machine. I just rolled over my foot. Can't wait to try this out. You guys, this machine works so much better. Okay, this is the side that I did with the new machine. Look at how clean that is. This is the Singer Heavy Duty. Excuse me? Like, it makes me want to seam rip all of this. Just so that I can restart it with this. But I'm not going to do that just because we're a little bit pressed for time. How is it that it works so much better? Oh, it works so much better. And, sorry, I'm just so excited. Every single time that you stop, it automatically lowers your needle back into your work. And it's just so many functions. It is so cool. And it does these, like, little, like, embroidery things. It does all these fancy little stitches here. Like I could do little flowers, I could do little swirlies if I want to do anything like that. For the hem, it's got a whole bunch of different button holes. And if you guys have been following me, you know that my buttonholer has been messed up on my machine for so long. I think it also does these. I should try putting my name in this. Okay, back on track, back to the video. Here's where I'm at. So I've got the first 4 panels on and I do like it quite a bit. I'm gonna be putting in my little Levi's tag right here. How healthy does that machine sound? Check this out. So when I finish a stitch, it just automatically resets the needle down, and then I press this cut button. It cuts my thread, I lift. All done, all perfect. Also, I forgot to mention, this is what it looks like. It is the Genome 4120 QDC. Ugh, I don't know if you guys can even just hear how healthy this machine sounds. It's just so nice. But the one thing happening right now is that this dress is getting heavy. Keep that in mind. It's gonna probably be pretty heavy to wear, which is another really good reason why I don't want to put a lining in there, just because it's gonna get really thick. And we're starting to deal with like a lot of bulk and layers and stuff, and then that's just not gonna look as good when worn, because it's gonna just droop down. But luckily with jean, it kind of holds its shape. I'm gonna put my little Levi's logo on here now. So because it's leather, I don't really want to pin it, so I will be eyeballing this straight. I'm gonna put my foot down, and I will be putting, oops, just trying my very best to put the needle in the hole. And then I think that the length I want is going to be maybe a 5. I'm just gonna be like hand cranking, essentially. Just hand cranking it so that my needle goes into each pre-made hole in this so that nothing gets like re-pierced, if that makes sense. But wow, it looks like the length of 5 on my machine is going into each, oh yeah, into each hole perfectly. But I'm still gonna do it by hand just so that it's nice and straight. So you guys know I also did the same thing at the shoulder seams. So they are just sewn together, serged, and then the serged line is stitched down, which gives it this exact look. The problem is that I've run out right before I need to put in my zipper, which is literally the last thing that I need to do. Like, this dress just comes up so easy. I would have finished it last night if it weren't for my sewing machine dying. Oh, hi, did you get a groom today and you're so pretty? It's looking really, really good. And honestly, oh, these seams are so nice. All right, we got new thread. We got a zipper. It's time to see if this new zipper foot works well. And bam, invisible zipper like you would never know. And now I'm gonna just top stitch these seams down just like I did with all the other seams. Sewing a zipper has never been easier. Oh my gosh, I'm almost done. Okay, so I just have to hem. So it's gonna be super easy for the armholes and the neck holes. All I'm doing, because everything is nice and serged, is folding them inwards like this, just on the serge line, and I'm just going to top stitch it like I have been for everything else. If you guys are ever sewing a bulky seam, like this one you can see is where the shoulder seam attaches, this tool is your best friend. If it gets bulky, you just slide it under the foot, lift my foot, put this little guy underneath it, and put my foot back down. It's gonna just go over the bulk with no problem. Like that. Oh, you couldn't even see. Watch it go. No problem, and then it just shoots this out back once it's done with it. The sides and the sleeves are done. This looks great. The inside, you can, oh, I didn't look at the inside. This bit can just get cut. There you go. Pretend that I've already cut all my threads a little bit better. You can see what the inside looks like. It's kind of funny because I had to try and finagle some of the pieces. So like on the back, there's like some pockets. I think there's another one here, yeah. But we're gonna remove that because I think that this dress is quite long. So I'm gonna try it on, and then we're gonna probably cut, oh, I'll probably just cut at this hem. We're gonna cut it exactly at this hemline, and I'm gonna keep it a raw edge, I think, but I'm just gonna add an entire line that goes all the way through. And then you'll see the final result. Let me know how you guys like this dress. One side note before I go into the whole recap of it, I'm just playing around with this machine and I just need to show someone, and you guys, if you're still here, I'm showing you. Dude, the cutest, like look at that. It tells you what foot to put, so like this is foot F, so I put that in there. And look, I wish I did this on the bottom of my dress. I guess, oops, I guess I still could, but like, look at how cute these little flowers are. I did my name and like a little heart. Oh, I should have done that on the bottom as the hem, honestly, but This really opens up a world of possibilities. Anyway, with that, that is it, you guys. Let me know what you think of the dress. Like I said at the start of the video, let me know if you want me to make a tutorial on how I did this, because I would definitely have probably enough scraps left to make this as well a second time, and then maybe I can add fun little embroidery to it. In all, it is such an easy pattern. I really do recommend it. I will have it linked down below, either in the description or a pinned comment. But with that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys want to see next as per usual, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!